Hello students, your instructor here, John Medula with another screencast. This one is for the typeface Din, part of the sans serifs number 2 group. And when you look at Din, you don't notice a lot about it straight away, especially in its medium form. One thing you do notice about Din is that no matter it's condensed or wide or whatever, it's always very rectangular in nature. I mean, look at the C, the O, the Q, the U, even the S a little bit, how it just straight, it literally flattens out on the sides. The D has it too, flattens out before it curves back around. On the S, it doesn't seem too rectangular, and you have this line cutting through there, almost like a diagonal stress on the S endings. But the spine, look how the spine almost flattens out in the middle and then goes back around. So it's almost a little bit wobbly, like it's a little bit too constricted to be there. And you see the same thing in the lowercase s as well. More notable features would be the fact that the T curls down and then it just stops abruptly. It's not a big hook or anything like that. And the lowercase l comes down and actually curves a little bit at the bottom. So for me, the lowercase l, the R, how it goes, and then it actually stops at an angle like that. The D and all the other normally round letters are very rectangular, and then the R, the leg is kicked out from the stem. So that's what I noticed about Din. You look at its bold version, some of its characteristics seem to be more accentuated. Again, the hook is more accentuated. Again, very rectangular. You can see in the S it gets almost a little bit wobbly because it's trying to fit the boxy rectangular nature of everything else. The E and other letters, they cut off at an angle like that. The R, notice, cuts the exact opposite angle. The T, look at that comma next to the T. It's like a big wedge cut out of it, kind of like some of your typefaces. The M has a value that does not hit the baseline, and it's squared off. So let's look at it in use. You can see some of its kind of characteristics a little better. Here's a book cover, A Million Little Pieces, and you can see right away that the M doesn't hit the baseline, and the L curls in the bottom, and it matches the same curl in the T. If you look at the R, its ending stays very high, and it's at an angle, and then a very modest descenders, and the X height is gigantic. I mean, look at the X height. And the letters, it's quite large. Here's a popular example. This is the JetBlue logo, not this, just this up here, the word JetBlue. Again, the E, where it's cut off the finial, the L curves down, the B is very boxy, and the T has a curl as well, just like the L does. Here's a sign, so don't confuse this with interstate, but in Europe, you might see Din used more often than we use interstate. They use Din for some of their traffic signs. You can see right away that it's Din is the curl. On the T, the R is cut off at an angle, the A is very boxy, and the K's leg connects to the arm and not to the stem. And the 4 also is Din. It's got the notch cut up top, the big pylon. This is Font Shop actually creates or sells Din. Some examples of it in use. I think that right here, this pink one is the best example of it. Again, the curled L, the R cuts off at an angle. It's right there. The T is at a curl. The modest descenders, and the G and the P, the boxy, almost wobbly S. And the modest descender on the Y. Here's a specimen. So we can see here that, again, very boxy. I mean, look how rectangular the C and the D are, and the G. Notice that the G doesn't come back down. The descenders are quite modest. And I'm going to zoom in on the numbers here, because the numbers are actually quite interesting. A little bit too far. You can see here the 1's got that big notch up top. The 2, look at how that, similar to Universe, how it just goes and bam, all the way down to the corner. The 4, this is the most noteworthy character, is the 4 and the 7. The 7 has a saber tooth on it, and the 4 has a big opening. It's cut out, doesn't connect again. Alright, if you look at the 1, the 4, and the 7, it's very aggressive. One more example of it, here's a website that uses it for its heading right here. So that's Din as well. You can see the T, the R, and the L. That's Din.